All right. So once you decide to go down a road, just own it. Number two, you're going to need to do market research. So, like starting any business, you need to do your research on your customer, because without your customers, you have no money, you go out of business. Same thing. Without a job, without impressing your customers, who are recruiters and companies, you won't have any money because no one will pay you. And then you go out of business, aka move back in with mom and dad. So, with that being said, know your customer. In this case, recruiters and the companies that they work for. Or if you're going to grad school, the grad school admissions counselors in the college that they represent. So what Harvard Law School might represent and what they're really good at, a certain portion of law, is probably different than Stanford. I would take a wild guess and say that Stanford Law has a little bit more emphasis on patent law, technology law, and the business side of things. Why? Because of where they're located. So this is important to know. If you want to go into that area of law, even as a freshman, just act like you have a direction, all right? Because it's going to open up doors for you that way. But the more important thing, do your research on all the different colleges, or if you're doing a job, on all the different jobs, because despite the differences that exist between law schools, they're going to have some common themes. You're going to need to be a very strong communicator, a very strong, you're going to be very persuasive. You're going to need to have strong written communication skills. You're going to need to be able to do strong reading abilities, pardon the phrasing, ironically, and you're going to need to be able to do research, a lot of research. You're going to have very strong English aptitude. So that's why English majors oftentimes go into law. So think about a marketing major, right? So if you're going to go into marketing, sure, this digital marketing job and this digital marketing job might have different job descriptions, but you'll be able to see the themes. They'll be the same. Every social media marketing role is going to require that you know Microsoft Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. Sure, that's a pretty common thing taught in business schools today, but how much better are you really than your contemporaries? If you can waltz into an interview in the social media marketing role where you're going to need to do a lot of data analysis based on how many likes, comments, so on and so forth, engagement metrics that you have, present that to your boss and say, hey, you know what? This piece of content is doing much better. Why? Because I'm able to calculate these numbers in Excel. They put that on their resume, but they can't do this advanced kind of stuff. So that's maybe where you'd want to get some kind of Excel certification that differentiates yourself. Knowing what the job role that you want to do in the industry that you want to go into is really, really important, because you can look at all these job descriptions, analyze them, and maybe even reach out to some recruiters and say, hey, what are the knowledge, skills, and abilities that I need that are necessary to succeed in this role? And number two, what are the knowledge, skills, and abilities that I can work on to be better than the average applicant and be the best applicant? So what can I do to get a competitive advantage? Do your market research, know your customer, go to LinkedIn Premium, ask recruiters yourself, and also look at the job descriptions and see if you can find commonalities between 10 different companies and for the same role, digital marketing, for example. Or maybe it's a software engineer for 10 different companies. You'll start to see those commonalities, make notes of them, and then build those skills accordingly.